Alright, we're playing Darkest Dungeon.
Woo!
It's a game that I'm sure a lot of people are familiar of. It's currently in early access, made by Red Hook.
And it's been promoted like crazy on Steam as far as I have noticed.
On Steam, a lot of Let's Plays have done it. Just in general, a lot of game reviews and stuff have come out, and it's been getting a lot of positive feedback, so good for them. It's a great game. I played a little bit of it so far.
Nice. So then what are we doing that's different?
What are we doing that's different? That's kind of hard to say, because, I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of those Let's Plays don't necessarily go into the nitty-gritty of the design, and that's, I mean, what we try to do at least.
Alright, we'll tell you what. Part of the game is either trying to have your people survive or not go insane, so I'm going to play it a little bit differently, and instead of trying to prevent my people from going insane, I'm just going to let that happen and see what comes about.
Fair enough.
So that way, if you ever watch this and you end up playing the game, you know why you shouldn't let this happen.
So do you think it's easy to let your guys not go insane? Like, to prevent it from happening?
It's not easy to prevent it from happening. The big, I mean,
you're just more likely to die from other causes.
it's bad things can happen. Usually, you get like when your sanity reaches certain points, you get some crazy, just problems with your. It's hard to say. You get these psychosis and stuff, and it's pretty cool. Things can be insane. So
nice.
Anyway,
you hit that Windows key.
I don't want to talk about it
all the time.
All right, so naming it. Naming it.
The Forever Dying Dungeon. There will be lots of death, I'm sure.
We're gonna name this the Cheeseburger. What the hell? Oh, I hate that button so much. Take it out.
Take the button out. I don't know why you have trouble with it, man.
The reason I'm doing this is because this is going to be called the Cheeseburger Estate.
I don't understand, but okay.
Oh, there's no joke to it. I'm just an idiot.
I like the art. I will say that much.
Oh, the art's so cool.
That was actually, so every time I saw it on Steam, I was like, oh my god, that art looks beautiful. I want to go check out this game. And then I actually looked at the game, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to play this. This doesn't really seem like it's that good. And then, of course, I kept looking back at it, and I was like, I should probably play this game.
I was warded away from it for it being an early access. Not because I don't like early accesses. I love them, but I already am knee-deep in a lot of them right now. So,
and you don't want to... It's also tough, too, because sometimes it ruins the experience.
Yeah.
Because you finish playing it, and then after it's done being early access, you're like, I don't care anymore.
I mean, I wrote that paper about it a while ago, and I think ultimately, my opinion on it is you play it, you enjoy it, and then you come back to it like a couple months later. There are some people, I mean, if you really love the game, you just keep playing it.
Yeah.
But you can come back to it a few months later, and the differences are just, astounding.
That's fair.
But the downside to it, I think, is if you played it a lot right before it came out, when it finally does come out, you're not going to play it anymore.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I pretty much already played the final project. So.
That's fair.
So
what was the exposition that just happened?
Basically, some guy who owns this whole estate, he finds a dungeon and goes insane, and he has to hire people to go into the dungeon to try to rid it of its evil.
Okay, so is there a main character, or is it just like you are this party?
The main character is the narrator.
Ah,
it's
and the narrator
cool.
Can't die.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
Move forth, click. Thank you, tutorial. Alright, so you could do click or A and D, but I'm just gonna... one issue is that it doesn't always acknowledge your clicking. See, A and D to move, or click. Moving. So you'll notice that these little squares down here, they're basically sections. So
of the map?
Yeah, so there's no difference between where I'm moving right. Oh,
took
now.
Damage?
I lost sanity.
Oh.
as you travel through.
So you're just perpetually losing sanity.
Yeah.
Is that sort of like a timer then?
For your people, basically, great, I missed. For your people, basically, yeah. When as they gain insanity, they start to here, bam. So like right now, he has this little bonus, and then he has these negatives, and you'll just start racking up negatives, like, and they get severe when you like get really bad, when you get really bad sanity. So he already has 16 just from that. I just got really unlucky there.
Damn.
Yeah. So what's cool is there's no basic attack option. So right now I'm using this guy. There's like no basic attack option, and you'll see down here where it says like smite. You see these two little, I can't really scroll over them. The two little or the 4 spots on the left above the word smite. So basically the back 2 are darkened out while the front 2 are highlighted. That means if I'm in the front 2 positions, I can use this ability.
Oh, okay.
And
so
then the red ones down here mean I can hit one of the 2 people in the front.
That's pretty cool, because what that does is it basically kind of gives the game its own tactical...
Absolutely. And every type of character like you can get their different abilities. Like right now he's a Crusader. If I picked up another Crusader, he'd probably have different abilities.
Nice.
Of course you can upgrade them later, and like you can change them however you want. So there's this one thing. Also, a lot of attacks you'll notice will say like, it will be like, for instance, right now, minus 40% damage. There's a lot of things that just don't do full damage. It's very, very possible for your character just not have his full damage mod.
Yeah.
And it tells you what your accuracy is and all that jazz.
Pretty much all the stuff you'd expect it to tell you.
Yeah. So this doesn't do much damage, but it has a stun base of 100%. Now, so like you think, oh yeah, you have a 100% chance to stun him. But no, this guy right here has a 25% stun resist. So when I hit him with it, it's a 25%. And this one just...
And while it would be nice if it auto-calculated that, I'm sure if there are more enemies in the field, then that would just be too much of a pain in the ass to figure out.
No, of course he resisted it. Of course.
And then the other stats are just that character's stats?
Down here?
Health, accuracy, crit, damage.
Yeah, it's like your base accuracy, your base crit, damage is,
So it's basically a display to kind of show you your character stats if you need it.
Yep.
Do you ever find that it's useful to see that there, or?
I pay attention to the damage, I pay attention to the dodge. The protection is nice because like only special abilities will give you protection. Speed is really important because this guy's a really high speed.
Huh. So basically it's not pointless to have it there.
No, it's not pointless. It is pretty helpful.
That's good.
So if you right click, you can see a person's thing. So like he has 3 abilities he doesn't even have. There's campfire skills. While you're at a campfire, you can like use certain abilities to do things. For instance, there's like the Jester. I think the Jester has one where you can make fun of somebody. And if you do that there, its sanity goes up, but everybody else's insanity goes down because they're laughing at him.
Nice. Yeah, because my first impression of everything as far as the UI goes is that it seems a little cluttered, but it seems very much like one of those kinds of UIs that once you get used to it, it really is
This is
not
a
cumbersome.
tutorial dungeon. It's the same all the time. So by the time you get through this, you pretty much understand the basics of the game that you need to.
Gotcha.
I just gave him bleed, so he's going to take 2 damage per round for 3 turns.
Nice.
And that activates every time he goes. So
okay, that makes sense.
Gonna stun him again.
Does it go after he makes his action or just before?
Just before, so they can die.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
There's a lot of so bam, I got 750.
Yeah, it's pretty infrequent that you see that the mechanic being used that way.
So down here's my inventory. Up here is my map. You'll notice up here this is a torch, very important. So this bar right here, as it goes down and hits a notch, different effects will happen. So like right now I have +2 to scouting, which means every time I enter a room, there's a chance that I can see down here like what the next rooms are going to be. Oh,
okay.
Which is really helpful when like it starts branching off into like 3 different places you can go to, and you're like, well, this one has more treasure, I'll go there.
So when you're past the tutorial, is it randomly generated dungeons?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yep, every time. Bam. Okay. So, which character you actually have highlighted outside of battle matters, because like let's say I click on him, he has a 20% chance to resist traps. And this guy.
So he's basically taking
0.
lead
Okay, so
when he's highlighted.
yes. And so if you have your group of 4, you know, you can have a trap guy. There's also, like, if you know you're in an area where there's a good chance you're going to get blight, which is basically just, like, I guess poison disease. You know, you want to have a guy with high resist try to open that. This is a tent. I don't think anything bad is going to happen. And then there are certain items you can place in a slot that just basically are auto-succeed with no penalty. But it's expensive. Every time you go out on a mission, you have to spend money to buy torches, to buy food, so it's actually costly.
Nice. Oh, treasure chest. Is that like a sub-boss?
I should have actually switched places with that here. Boom. So you can switch places, and that takes your turn.
Okay,
but you know, it's a tactical choice. So since he's farther back, if this guy like has a really beefy move that only hits the front guy, at least my guy's protected.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give my guy plus 20% protection.
That's pretty cool.
Both. That also gives plus 3 to torch. So as your torch starts going down, you actually can use abilities to illuminate it. It's kind of like healing your torch, so to say. You can heal your torch, you can heal yourself, you can heal your sanity. You got a lot of choices.
Cool.
So Grape Shot hits everything in the front 3 rows.
This game definitely does a good job at showcasing the benefits of using high resolution like art.
How so?
Well, the fact that they're able to zoom in and kind of like use that as not to exaggerate, but to emphasize kind of action moments. You wouldn't be able to do that with pixel art without making it ugly. Or even lower resolution art, or even like, I guess you could kind of see that being done with 3D games, but I feel it tends to not be as exciting when it's a 3D game.
Absolutely.
It has a lot to do with the way that it's scaled, right? Because the characters scale larger during those zoom-ins than the background does, so it kind of like it uses more perspective than I think you would expect, or changes up the perspective to change the focus. Either way, I'm just saying I think it's cool, and you don't really see that kind of art being utilized very well that often.
No, I agree with that. I am actually surprised that you do enjoy it, because it actually, a lot of the characters do have that
bone animation.
Yeah, and it tends to work out for the most part. Like, it's very small, so it's like, you know.
Yeah. I was actually going to comment on that, because I do hate bone animation, but these guys used it really well, because I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the detail in these characters makes it work. It makes it look like their joints blend very, very well.
Yes.
And that's usually my issue with bone animation, is that it's like, this is very clearly a separate appendage that was animated very separately. And while, you know, I still get a little bit of that in this, I think their animators knew very much what they were doing and knew how to make it look good and look natural.
Yes.
I mean, even in this idle animation, right? Like, when that knight is breathing, his whole fucking body is moving, but only a little bit, just enough to make it seem realistic. If it was just his shoulders, like, going up and down, it would look stupid.
Yeah.
But the slight lean forward and back, and the slight bending of the knees, or the slight movements in the armor, that's what sells it.
It makes it seem realistic.
Exactly.
Like, because the body's always moving. So, like, I have a stun ability that I use against the other guy, and that just means when it comes around to their turn, it just passes. So there's a lot of the status effects are very, like, important to bring up.
That makes sense. Well, you're definitely rocking this paddle.
Yeah,
but I guess that's the point.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Are these tutorial characters, or
you'll see these guys all the time.
Okay.
Are you talking about these?
Yeah.
You get to keep them, but I'll be honest, when I played through, I just fucking, like, they died. Like right after, like, I got into my first dungeon and they just died.
Sad.
Yeah, it was sad. Alright,
cool.
So after you're done with the dungeon...
And this is the end of the tutorial?
Yep, I just pick up the chest and then, you know, it's trapped. Great.
Oh no!
Okay, well, that sucked.
Well, that's all for this episode anyway.
Victory screen. Cool.
This one's going to be a little bit longer just because I wanted us to get kind of that introduction in. But I think we'll see more 10-minute episodes after this.
All right, guys. Well, see you in the archives.
Yep. See you later.
I figure you just cut that out since we're at the same screen.
Yeah.
Your mom's at the same screen.
Your mom.
She loves this game.